How's everybody doing today? Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody except for Lila doing today? All right. Well, welcome to the November 2025 management meeting. It's good to see all of you here today. We have a couple of guest speakers, a couple of guys that you don't see very often around the cooperative, but you will get a chance to hear from them today. So we're going to get started here, and we're good to go with 990. Are we getting, we're good to go with 990. So let's get going here. We're going to start off with one of the guys you don't see or hear much from here at the cooperative, LaDamian. And he gave an excellent presentation a couple of weeks ago about emergency preparedness here at the cooperative, and I'm giving him the chance to revisit one of the areas that he presented on, just so that we can be very clear on the preparedness for this emergency response situation, or maybe better yet, be clear about some of the lack of clarity around this issue. So I'm going to turn it over to LaDamian, and we're going to tag team a little bit on this issue. So LaDamian, take it away.
Thanks, Mitch. Have everybody. It's been about 2 weeks ago that I presented the emergency. So tonight or today or right now, I just want to focus mainly on the fire evacuation guidance. And I want to say that it's important we stay transparent, aligned, and accountable to ensure that we follow procedures. And on top of that, it's effective across the community. So our focus tonight, our focus right now is just going to be mainly on fire safety and preparedness. Just an image of Edina, the logo.
Well, Damian's got great graphics on his presentation.
Pretty nice, right? So I do want to talk about something that we brought up. We have this conversation already. So it's about the emergency evacuation guidance. And I do want to say that we want to enhance understanding of our evacuation plan. And on top of that, we want to review key reminders and safety measures. And on top of that, the core guidance remains the same with only essential updates added. And this ensures residents know what it is required, what is optional, and then on top of that, how to make the right decision in worst case scenario. And then on top of that, with the possibility of seeking professional inputs to provide better updates for our building. So when we start, so again, I do want to say that fire evacuation will be directed by Edina. With many residents in this building, the safest plan is to follow their instruction so that everybody could be safe. And then again, from our last presentation, these are some of the information that I received, and I just want to remind everybody that important reminder is that for elevator, in an event that there's an emergency, we should not use it. We learned that for ladder rescue, according to Rianne, it only go up to the 3rd floor. So it's limited to 3rd floor. And then on top of that, window per Minnesota building code, the 4th floor through the 9th floor, it only open about 4-inch wide. So that's why, those rescue it would be limited. And then on top of that, I do want to remind everybody that the one call now, that's the proper way or the most effective way to get your updates when there's an emergency or there's an after emergency, and you get it through your phone, email, and text. Hold on. Hold on, let me see. That's not how it's supposed to be. Sorry about that. There we go. So building safety plan, I do want to say that shelter in place, this is the current guidance, reflects the evaluation of the management leadership team. This is how we feel. This is, in our opinion, this is the safest way. And then on top of that, we do want to say that Edina Fire Department recommends evacuation, but also support us by creating our own plans. Evacuation is important in response to both real and false alert. Our decision is to ensure that residents with mobility challenge stay safe and prevent anyone from walking into danger. So the safest plan right now, after talking to Mitch and the management team, is to remain in your unit until fire department provide direct evacuation instruction. Mitch, would you like to add anything to this?
No, go, continue on there.
And then again, with the options that, knowing that this is an independent living building, the guidance is to stay. However, for residents that are able or capable of, you may leave. If you do choose to leave, do know that if you can safely use the stair, you may evacuate. Just do know that if you do evacuate, you may encounter danger or walk into harm's way. If you evacuate, do not delay. I think the biggest issue is sometimes some of us are so concerning that we're stopping, we're asking questions, and we're not moving along. So the best way to do is just do not delay the process, go directly to the safe zone outside and away from the building. For mobility issues, after talking to the fire department, make sure you call 911 right away with your unit number. Wait for emergency crew assistance. For emergency response guy, I will be showing that in a bit here. I will be providing, it was David that provided that sheets. I will be updating that sheets. It will be pretty much a step-by-step guide covering all emergency with pretty much all the emergency, and that I will share that with all the residents. And then in January, after talking with management, we will be we'll be scheduling a fire safety presentation with Edina Fire Department so we can get better details about our evacuation plan. And then after the presentation, the board will review strategy and confirm a final plan for us. Yes.
Thank you for revisiting that, LaDamian. The reason that we wanted to revisit this issue is when it was presented last week, there were some issues with the fire emergency response that may have caused not only, I think myself, but some members to be a little bit confused about what is the protocol if there is a fire emergency in the building where the fire alarms are going off. And when the fire alarms are going off, the fire department is going to be responding. That alarm goes to the fire department. The fire department's preference is that members evacuate the building. And they say that we can develop our own plan. Well, in our evaluation, it makes more sense to shelter in place. It is uncertain when there is a fire emergency, if members were to try and evacuate, where is the fire in the building? It might be unknown to the members. You may be evacuating into danger rather than staying away from danger. Certainly there are members that have mobility issues. So we want to be sure that you as members are receiving the best guidance possible. It may be that the best guidance possible is to evacuate, but we want to have Edina Fire Department in here to have a presentation about this and to take your questions, or for them to take your questions about this. We as a management team, as we evaluate this, with the type of construction of building that we have, with the fire sprinkler system that we have, with certain, mobility issues of some members, of having uncertainty of where the fire emergency is in the building. And if you leave your unit, you could be going into a hallway that's filled with smoke. You could be going into an area where there's fire behind a closed door and you just don't know. We have a lot of experience on our management team in managing buildings and having some experience with fire emergencies, but also the fire department, the fire marshal and firefighters, they are the experts in this. So we want to hear from them also personally. So this may sound still a little bit conflicted, and I don't deny that it is. But our preference, our guidance is that members shelter in place when there is a fire emergency. The fire department says their preference is to evacuate, but we are not sure if you evacuate, how well that can be done, and if you might be venturing into an area of the building where the fire or smoke is actually taking place. So our plan is to have the fire department in to give a presentation themselves. Yes, Barb.
As you know, I managed a 12-story steel and concrete building, much like this one. When I moved here, I was told this is a non-evacuation building. The fire department advised us at the time, do not open your door because it creates a draw. Stay in your unit unless the fire is in your unit. I'm not sure why we're having, I don't mean disrespect, but I'm not sure why we're having this discussion again when we are a non-evacuation building and unless the fire is in our unit. And it is dangerous to open our door because it creates a draw. So I'm not sure where we're going with
So we're not disagreeing, except that the fire department themselves said that their preference is to evacuate. So that is different from being a non-evacuation building. So we want to have them in to present themselves and for you as members to be able to ask them questions directly as the fire emergency experts. Any further questions on that in the meantime until we do have the fire department in here? Very good. Thank you. But if you do have any further questions at any time, don't hesitate to see LaDamian or me or anyone on our management team. Presenting next is Jake. Did you have anything further?
I just want to share a little thing and that's it. So I do want to say that you will get a copy of this along with the quick guide that I created. It will look exactly like this. It will provide you quick details of exactly how to use some of the tools that we have, or exactly how to evacuate, or in terms of a threat response, power outage. It will look exactly like this. And this will be reviewed by the management team. Once done, we will give you guys a copy. That's all I want to say. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, LaDamian.
Good afternoon. I missed all of you at 990 Land 2 times today. I'm sorry, I was having computer issues. Imagine the computer guy having computer issues. So I do apologize. I was not on at either time to give announcements. My apologies. But I'm sure all of you saw the crawl on the TV asking you to either tune in to 990 or to come down to the CAC to be present for the managers meeting to hear about the Xfinity Comcast upgrade we are presently going through. You do not need to worry about taking notes. I will be sending out an email communication after this meeting for the people who are not able to watch or the people that were not able to attend. I'm sorry. It's up on the crawl. It's a thing going on the 990 screen right now. Okay, well, we'll have to talk about that too. Okay, so I'm guessing everybody here has Comcast equipment in their unit right now, right? Everybody does? Okay. So there's things that have been happening behind the scenes that possibly you have not heard, but we have a new contract that was signed by the board of directors. I think we talked about that several manager meetings ago. Programming is changing and upgrades to our channel package are occurring. I think we talked about that several months ago as well. But something that is new that you do not know is Comcast will be having an event, an initiative, from January 12th through January 16th, 2026, with work to be done on property and in every member unit. A new programming guide will be placed on the portal showing what new content is available, and paper copies will be available in the main office for $1 to be charged to your member account if you do not want to utilize the member portal. So, what does all that mean? Comcast is going to come here. They're going to have 15 techs on site. Everybody already has a pre-assigned appointment. Posters are going to be posted on the glass next to the receptionist desk in the main office with everybody's unit number, the date of their appointment, and the window of time in which the tech will arrive to go ahead and swap out equipment and to check your connection. If you cannot make your appointment, if somehow you find yourself unavailable a month and a half from now, you need to let me know, and I will put you on a separate list to schedule another appointment after that initiative is complete. So, I thought of questions before you asked me questions, so we'll see how few questions we get at the end of me talking. Maybe we can speed this along. What do you think? So the first question I thought you might ask is, what is being worked on and installed? Comcast, Xfinity equipment, and a review of your connection in your unit. So basically, excuse me, I'm still getting over a double ear infection my son gave me. They're going to come in, they're going to check your connection, make sure you can receive all of the new content. They're going to go ahead and swap out equipment that is antiquated. Some people here have DTAs, digital to analog receivers. Those will no longer work with the new programming. Those will be taken away, and you'll be given new equipment so you can access all of the content. So that is what will be happening during that time period. The 12th and the 13th, they will be down in the garage working on different equipment down there to make sure that we can receive the faster internet speed and the additional content that we're going to receive with this new contract. So they're going to be here that whole week doing work both downstairs and in member units. Next question, do I need to be home? Yes, you or someone over 18 that is responsible for your unit and personal effects must be home. Staff will not be allowing entry or arranging entry. So it is imperative that someone is home. We're not opening up people's units with master keys and letting them in. Again, if you can't make the appointment time that's already been set by them, we can definitely reschedule it. Just let me know, and we'll figure it out together, okay? There's no need to panic. All right. What if I'm unable to make my appointment? Like I just said, come to the office, see me, we'll reschedule. You do not want to reschedule it yourself. If you reschedule it yourself, during that week or before, you will be charged. And it's $100 just for them to come here. So do not schedule it by yourself. Come talk to me. We'll figure it out together. What will be the time allotted for my unit for an appointment? On average, an hour and a half. So that's the time they want to take to go through everybody's stuff. Might be shorter for some, might be longer for others, but that's the time they're kind of allotting for each unit and each feed. Can I ask the Comcast person about my service issues? Yes, you can. Now is your opportunity. Instead of asking me, who doesn't have any Comcast equipment, doesn't work for Comcast, and has no ability to diagnose issues, now is your opportunity to say, hey, the back bedroom, I can't get signal. Hey, my remote dies. Hey, this happens. Now's your shot to say something, and it's not going to be billed to you, and you don't have to call or do anything. So yes, bring up your issues, but they did tell me, please refrain from bringing up personal technology issues. They're not going to help you with Alexa if she's not listening to you. They're not going to help you get on your Netflix and fix your queue. And they're not going to look at your iPhone and help you with your app. But if you're having issues with your service, now is the time to say something. I cannot tell you how many times people come to me and ask me to fix their service. I really can't do that. I don't have any of the tools. I don't have any of the equipment. Now is your shot, so take it. What changes can we expect after all this work is completed? Better internet speed, more channels, better access to different content, and higher quality in picture sound, as well as those sports channels that disappeared last year. Does everybody remember that? Yeah, those are coming back with this upgrade. So everyone should be happy about that. We're going to get the Twins again, and everyone will be happy.
Maybe not.
Important considerations during the equipment and swap for the Comcast event. 990 is a tool we still want to have at our disposal at a community. Again, I'm sorry for my absence today. It's not an excuse, but I'm going to work with that with my colleagues. Comcast techs told me they're going to ensure that proper equipment is placed for 990 viewing for all units. So people who aren't presently getting 990, please mention that. And they have said that they will make arrangements in your unit so you can receive what they call channel insertion, which is what we have upstairs and in this room. However, something people need to consider: if you elect to get the most up-to-date equipment, XI5 or XI6, don't worry, don't write this down. I'm going to send you an email. I'm going to also send out a paper copy to everybody, so don't worry. You will not be able to receive 990. So when they're doing the equipment swaps, if you still want to get 990 and you want to see the channel, do not get the most up-to-date, latest and greatest equipment, because you will not be able to receive channel insertion. So something to consider. Maybe you don't want to watch 990. That's up to you. But if you get the latest and greatest equipment, you will not be able to receive the broadcast daily. And then the biggest change after all this is done is, with this contract renegotiation and discussing things with the Comcast team, Mitch and I spent many hours talking to them about the issues that members have brought to us, the issues with people departing, people incoming. The big change we're going to have here is members need to work solely with Comcast representatives. We are not going to have the Platinum line available to us to call on behalf of members. We learned this just recently. A member had an issue. I tried to schedule an appointment. They denied me scheduling them an appointment because now I don't have access to anybody's anything anymore. So one big switch is Comcast Xfinity is the person you have to deal with if you're having a service issue, if you're having an internet issue. That is who you have to deal with end to end. The office will not be able to assist you in any capacity. I encourage everybody, they're coming. If you're having issues, ask them. Now's the time to speak up. And if you have issues after this event is over, go to the store. The store is just a few blocks down the way on France, right across from Lund's. That is the best way to get your problems solved. The techs are knowledgeable. The service people are good. Don't call the number. Don't call the 1-800 number to get help. Just go to the store. I know that's inconvenience. The van can take you for those of you who do not have capacity to drive or don't drive anymore. We can drop you off at the store, but if you have any issues going forward after the 16th of January, that's where you need to go. And that's where our account representatives encourage all members to go if you're having a service issue. Don't call the phone number, just go to the store. Before we change gears about communication, are there any questions? Darn, I didn't get them all.
Before you take a question, can you speak to the effect that 990 is going to be giving us more personal service on site?
Yes, so Comcast has also promised us that they will be coming on site, setting up a table in the lobby, inviting members to come down, talk to them about specific issues, and they have promised that that's something that they're going to do, that they were supposed to do the last contract that we did, and they kind of failed to do that. Pandemic, all that different things happened. A lot of things changed for them. But they promised that they're going to hold quarterly events for members to come down, pick up some swag. You know, they give out candles or a shirt or a grocery bag and kind of ask you how your service is. So they've promised that that's something they're going to do with this re-up starting next year. All right. Do you want to pass the microphone around?
Yeah, we can take about 5 minutes for questions on this. If there are more than that,
please come to the office and talk to me. I'm happy to answer as many questions as I can.
Two quick questions. First of all, on that slide there, what if we don't elect the most up-to-date equipment? Are they coming in just swapping out to some basic stuff and we have the option to go to higher grade, or what? I'm confused on that one.
So they're going to bring more up-to-date equipment than we have right now,
Yeah.
but they're not going to go to the latest gen because then you can't get channel insertion.
Okay. The other question is, I've got some neighbors that have already gone south for the winter, so they won't see these appointment sheets. Are you going to have this group come back, or a smaller group come back?
Yes,
next
so when I
spring?
send out email communications, one-call communications, letting everybody know that this is happening, because I wanted to first announce it here, announce it on 990, and then send out emails. Those snowbirds who are not here, they will have the opportunity to let me know, hey, I'm coming back at this time, and I'll arrange an appointment with the team that I'm working with after the fact. So let's say they don't come back till next summer. Next summer, we'll schedule an appointment, and we'll get everything taken care of. Yes.
This isn't a question, but I would recommend that if people are going to the Xfinity store, you make an appointment, or you will sit there and wait. Do that prior. You can do it online. It's easy.
If anybody didn't hear that, always make an appointment before you go to any stores, Verizon, anything like that, because you'll sit there for hours. You're correct. So make an appointment before you go to Xfinity so you don't spend a lot of time sitting there.
Two things. I noticed when I had to go to the store, I just walked in and said, I'm a part of the 7500 York contract, and I saw somebody within 5 minutes. There was no waiting. And I had a lot of problems. We had our system shut down. I did get the newest and latest installed. My other question is, you had talked one time about using YouTube. Is that not going to happen?
To be determined.
Thank you. I'm not sure why they don't want us to call. I've only had to call Xfinity twice. They've been great as far as coaching me on the phone. Do they not want us to do that?
They just feel that sometimes when you call, you can get routed to other countries, and with accents, it can be hard, especially if you have declining hearing ability. So they just recommended going to the store because it's so close, and you probably can get better communication face-to-face than you can over the phone. So that's what's the recommendation. If you want to call, by all means, call. Joe,
Yes.
hold it closer to your mouth.
For those of us who do not get 990, my understanding from you earlier was that I did already have an upgrade and I would have to downgrade to get the 990. So do I already have the upgrade?
You already do, yes.
Okay. And the other thing is, I've had really good results when I've called Comcast, and I've told them I'm in an apartment building, and it is a bundled package, and they get me to the right place.
The bulk package, yes. We're all under a bulk package, bulk billing. Any other questions?
We'll take two more, one here and one
And
over there.
Yeah, we got one over here, Denise.
From my experience, it's not on my own, but a few more people who had problem not having 990 due to a fact that they went to the store following a text message requesting to bring their equipment to the store and swap it. But then when they had the instruction from Xfinity expert to bring that home, install themselves. How could Xfinity expecting people in our age to be able to be expertise in equipment, installation?
I understand
And then
what you're
when we
saying.
had problem, we called, and then they said if they come over, they totally ignored the contract with 7500 York, but they treated each one of us as a new customer or one individual customer, and they insisted on charging $100 for coming out.
So that's why they're coming out to do the upgrade from the 12th to the 16th for everybody for their equipment. At this time, I would recommend no one swapping their equipment right now until after this initiative is over, so you avoid paying the fee for a tech to come out and do any work. So if we can just all hold fast till the week of January 12th, all that work should be done and you won't have to install it yourself. If you have any further questions about that, please see me offline and I can talk to you about it. Yes, Denise.
We live in a combined unit, and we only have 990 in one of the units, but we'd like to be able to get 990 in our bedroom. So do we have to get it installed in our other unit before the 12th, or can they do that on the 12th through the 16th?
They'll do that through the 12th to the 16th, work that with you. Okay, so,
One more here, Jake.
okay. I thought I asked all the questions already. Drat. Next time.
I guess I'm a little confused about, you say that those high-end upgrades are the ones that mean you don't get 990?
The top-end equipment, the IP-based, you cannot get channel insertion, yes.
So what is the advantage of that?
Of that equipment?
Yeah.
It's wireless and it's faster. That's why it's fast. That's why it's
Other
better.
than that, that's all?
Well, I mean, you can get more premium content. It's more closer to probably a smart device than what a cable box is. There is certain advantages to it, but all I'm trying to say is if you elect that equipment, you cannot get channel insertion, which is 990. Any other questions? They're still going to come, and you can tell them that you're satisfied with what you have. Okay, so we're not going to get all the questions answered today for sure. There's going to be more questions that come up as the weeks go by. Tomorrow, all the posters, in fact, I think Udia and Melissa are working on it now. They're putting all the posters on the glass. Go look at your appointment time and your appointment day. Take 24 hours. And then see if that's going to work for you. If it's not, come see me. I'll put you on a list, and we'll get you another time the week or two after. Thank you very much. We will get this figured out together. It's a big project, one that requires teamwork between Xfinity, myself, and you guys. So we'll get this accomplished, and we'll all have better programming with sports. Okay, real fast. Communication at 7500 York. Changing gears. So we've had some issues with communication not reaching members. It going to the spam or junk folder. Who's had that happen? Raise their hand. All right, so the reason that has been happening is our domain, which is, our domain is this, at 7500york.com or 7500york.com, was labeled as sending spam and sending junk to people. So I got on the phone with a bunch of different people with Comcast, with Pop, our email client. I got a bunch of things changed, and everybody should be receiving both the one call starting, not from today, but going forward from today, and emails coming from all at 7,500 emails. We should be receiving those to everybody. So everyone that has Comcast.net, Gmail.com, Yahoo, Outlook, so on. Everybody should be receiving those communications now that we've been whitelisted again. Excuse me. If that happens again, please let me know so we can go ahead and reach back out to those parties and see if we've gotten spam labeled again. But everybody should be receiving those emails and those texts. On the same thing with communication, thank you to those who emailed me today saying they did not receive the filter and battery change alert. They did not receive the water shut off tonight alert. I need to know when you're not receiving communication. Emails could be entered wrong. Your email may have changed and we haven't changed it in the system because you didn't come to the registration table maybe that year. So if you're not receiving communication, please let me know so I can keep our records up to date. I think we're getting closer and closer and closer to the goal of having good communication, but it's something we're always going to be working on. So we have over 430 phone numbers in one call, and we have a 96% hit rate with that. We have over 430 text phone numbers, and we have 100% success with that. And we have over 300 emails. I wish we had more in one call, and we are up to 90-some% of it successfully reaching a mailbox. Again, maybe some of them have gone to spam and junk, and I'm working to fix that. But we're getting closer to being able to reach everybody really fast to give important information. So thank you for helping with that. That's all that I have. Sorry to take up so much time. And we'll talk more about Comcast, Xfinity as the weeks go by.
Thank you, Jake. Jake is going to, we are going to be back on the screens, Julie, for a couple of things with Jake for my presentation. But while he is getting, yes, why don't you go ahead and put that up there. So I just wanted to let everybody know, and everybody, it's a very pleasant sound. Yes. We'll get that up there, but what I'm going to talk about first is not up on the screen, so don't worry about that. Everybody should know that a few weeks ago now, more than 2 weeks certainly, but maybe as many as 3 weeks, the Board and Finance Committee had a presentation from our insurance broker, Laura Hearn of Lutheran Trust, and she came in and presented all of the proposals essentially that we had from insurance companies for our property, liability, auto, cyber, crime, directors and officers coverage. And the board at that time passed a resolution to approve all of those coverages. I'm very sound sensitive. Anyway, except perhaps if my wife is asking me to do something, I have a hard time hearing. But no, I'm just joking on that. But after that happened, I put together a 4-page document that went out to everybody on paper to their apartment mailbox. Raise your hand if you received that from me. It was a cover letter. It was a informational letter from Lutheran Trust about our new insurance. and then it was a 2-page document titled HO6 Insurance Explained. So I just want to be clear that according to the bylaws of the cooperative, members are required to have personal property coverage and loss assessment coverage. So don't pay attention to this now. This is about the building coverage. But what I'm discussing here is about your own HO6 policy that everybody is required to have as a member per the bylaws. And in that HO6 policy, you are to have personal property coverage, that is for your own personal possessions, and you are to have loss assessment coverage, and that covers at least the amount of the master mortgage deductible, which is $25,000. You can have more than $25,000 coverage. Usually it comes in two amounts, either $25,000 or as much as $50,000. I haven't heard of it being offered more than $50,000. I have heard in some circumstances where insurance companies were only willing to cover $10,000. If your insurance company is telling you that they'll only provide $10,000 of loss assessment coverage, you need to either ask them if they'll go more, and if they won't, you need to find another insurance company for your HO6 policy. If you don't have your HO6 declaration page, that is the cover page that has all of your coverages, your insurance coverages on it, into our office, you need to get that into our office. We keep track of those. If you submitted it and your insurance has renewed since you submitted it the last time, please submit that to the office. We will be making a report in the office of all of the coverages of the members, what they have submitted, and if you haven't submitted your latest declaration page that shows you are up to date on your coverage for personal property and loss assessment in the amount of at least $25,000, you need to get that into the office. Any questions about that? Can we get the microphone? Yeah, but for 990, they need to be able to hear you. And while Jake is getting the microphone to you, this HO6 Insurance Explained 2-page document does a very good job of explaining what it is that you need, what HO6 is and the coverages that you're required to have.
Can you clarify whether the coverage of $25,000 is the total for both the personal and the loss assessment? Or
yes,
it's
I can
only
clarify
for
that.
loss
It is not. $25,000 is only for loss assessment. The amount of coverage that you have for your personal property is up to you, depending on what your personal property is valued at. So for some people, it might be as little as $5,000 or $10,000. For some people, perhaps if you have a lot of jewelry or expensive art or something like that, you may need to have as much as $50,000 or $100,000. I have no idea how much your personal property is valued at. So that is up to you how much you cover your personal property for. Any other questions on that? Okay, very good. And I do want to jump over to what is on the screen in front, and those are the coverages that the cooperative has. And so I just want to assure members that the cooperative is adequately covered for all of the different areas of insurance that the cooperative is required to have. How do we know as the management team, how do we know as the board of directors what the required coverages are? We have a document that is shared with us from our mortgage company, National Cooperative Bank, and they want to make sure that the property is properly covered by insurance. Why is that? They own it, or they own part of it. They own most of it. Not most of it, but they own part of the building. They have a lien against the building with the mortgage, and they want to make sure that the property is properly covered for property insurance, for liability insurance, and the other types of insurances such as directors and officers insurance, automobile insurance for the van that we have, cyber coverage for cyber crime, umbrella coverage. We're required to have umbrella for both the property coverage as well as the liability coverage, and as a part of that, terrorism coverage. I discovered that we discovered, because the board as well wasn't aware of this, and I dug into this a little bit with the mortgage company, that the property is required to have terrorism coverage. So we have that as of this year. And so I just want to assure everybody that the cooperative has the requisite required coverages for the cooperative. So that's what I wanted to share with you today about insurance, not only what you're required to have for HO6, but what the building is required to have by our mortgage company, and also what is reasonable and responsible to have. If you have any further questions about that, I don't have time to take them during this meeting here, but please send me an email, give me a call, or stop by and let me know if you have any questions about either of those insurance coverages. I do want to share the news today that, can everybody read that? All A units have buyers. Barb informs me that it's like the first time in 7 years that there haven't been A units for sale without buyers yet. So that's great news. It is a testament to the hard work of not only the marketing team, the marketing committee, but the whole management team as well. So congratulations to all involved with that. I did have a question come in, and I want to give a little bit of an admonition here, because there is a better way to submit questions to me. But I just happened to see it as I was passing, going into the office or coming out, and I saw a little slip of paper sitting under the box where you put your member dues or whatever checks you might be submitting or whatever. And I saw this folded over piece of paper wanting to know how many full-time and part-time employees we have. And so if you do have any questions that you would like answered during a management meeting or otherwise, please email them to me, give me a call, or stop by the office and see me, and I'd be more than happy. I love answering questions, and most often, the more challenging the question is, the more I appreciate it. So the answer to the question is I went the extra mile on this. And so the cooperative, or Ebenezer Management Services, on contract with the cooperative, has 37 employees here. 25 of them are full-time employees. 8 of them are part-time employees, and 4 of them are casual employees. A casual is an on-call employee that if somebody calls in sick or needs to go on vacation and there's nobody else to schedule that regularly gets scheduled, one of the casual workers can be called in. The team that has the most, or the department that has the most employees here is the security department. There are 6 full-time, 6 part-time, and 2 casuals. And following that, the administrative team has 7 full-time and 1 casual. So it goes on from there. 37 total employees, 25 full-time, 8 part-time, and 4 casuals. Anybody care to let me know who asked that question? It's a great question. The number of employees that the management team has here is really up to the board of directors to determine the level of service that you as a cooperative community want to have. Now, on occasion, we do hire casuals because that doesn't add to the payroll. They only fill in when somebody else is not working. But to be able to have more consistent service, we do get casuals from time to time. Okay, let me move on to some updates. The North Plaza and Link waterproofing project only has 2 more years to go before it's completed. Thank you. Appreciate that. No, it is almost done. There's only really, as I was thinking just off the top of my head, and I walked out there today, the work remaining is for the fabrication of the stairs going up from the North Plaza to York Gardens. There is the metal flashing that goes around the perimeter of the building at the base of the wall, and the privacy fences that are to go in. Yesterday or 2 days ago, the posts for the privacy fences were put in, and so it is just the fencing that is left to put onto those posts. Any questions about the North Plaza waterproofing project? Hearing none, we'll move on. The lobby and balcony project is progressing. Today I saw Becky Lynn here. Her ad hoc committee met with Mohegan Hansen as well as some from our staff today, and I heard that meeting went well. So I think we're arriving near the final design of the lobby and balcony project. Just give me a high sign if that's true, that we're nearing the end of the design. There are some really important decisions to make, but we're most of the way there towards halfway. Boiler replacement. A request for proposal was sent out in early October in that. Those proposals came in by the end of October. There were 3 bidders on that project out of 5 who received a request for proposal. Those bids are being evaluated. A presentation is being put together and should be completed soon for that to be presented to the property committee and the board, at least, if not others. So more information to come when that is set up. Garage cleaning, I haven't mentioned that in a month. Garage cleaning is when? Garage floor cleaning is when? April 28 and 30. And is there any consequence if your car is not out of the garage? $100 fine. Everybody should know that, and that will continue to be communicated. Exterior facade repairs or replacements. There is a rough order of magnitude that is being worked on by one of our engineering companies, and we expect that to be completed in January. Replacement of chilled water pipes, that is something that was, replacement of chilled water pumps. And that was approved a few months ago, 3 or 4 months ago now, by the Board of Directors upon recommendation of the Property Committee. We put that off until cooling season was done so that air conditioning would not need to be interrupted for the members during the hot season. And so the replacement of those pumps that pumps through the building, the chilled water for the air conditioning, that is nearing completion down in the boiler room. York Room, the new executive chef, starts on December 8th. We're looking forward to that, and I just want to give a word, she's not here, of appreciation to Amanda and her team for continuing to provide good service and good meals while they do not have an executive chef on site. Let me pause for a second there. Any questions on any of that before I move on to just a few last things? There is one question over in the section to the left over here. Mrs. Pahula. Oh, she was just waving. It's very nice to receive some acknowledgement while you're up here presenting. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let me move on to some information about what did I do with it? Maybe I didn't grab that off of my desk. Anyway, back earlier this year in the spring, the unit inventory was done, where Anthony Sather came in and did an inventory of all of the cooperative-owned assets in your units. And once that was finished, that it did get put on pause for a while until we worked through the unit standards for the property. And the unit standards were approved in the past month or so. And so I was able to pass on that confirmed list of unit standards for him so that he could continue to do the work that he did in doing the inventory. And there will be a partial report, as was promised. Well, a report was promised, but it will be first a partial report that comes out to everybody just with your appliances. And so this gives members a bit of responsibility and a bit of a feel for the process, because this is going to happen eventually with a full report of the inventory of cooperative-owned assets in your units. But you are going to receive a report. Well, thank you, Jake. That's where it's at. I thought I had a hard copy, and I forgot that I had just forwarded it on to Jake. Can you enlarge that at all?
Yes. I think.
Well, that having failed, those of you that could see it, well, you sort of get an idea there. Those are the appliances that is for one unit here. The unit is not identified, but this is what you will see. You will also receive a full page of instructions of such as this, of what to do with that report of appliances. And I'm not going to go through that now. We will at a later time, and this will come out. This is a a very descriptive list of instructions for what we will need you to do for the report of appliances that will come out to you. Most of it will just be a verification, and if you find something that is incorrect on the report of appliances, because it's been about a half a year since the unit inventory was done. I am sure for some of you, you may have received a whole set of different appliances. You may have had a replacement of 1 or 2 appliances because appliances didn't work. You may be a new member to the building, and in the process of turnover, your unit received an entire set of new appliances if it was time. So we want to make sure that as of the time of the reports going out, that everything is up to date, and we need you to play a part in that. The reserve study for the cooperative was recently finished. It is something that I have been working on with the team and with our reserve advisor's advisor to update the list or the schedule of components, replacement components for the property, as well as the costing of some of those components, and making sure that everything is correct in that. It takes an inordinate amount of work to do that. The report goes out 30 years. It has several dozen components for the building, the replacements that are of a capital nature and of a major expense. And then there's a schedule of all of that, and then there is the financial side of it, of what is recommended by reserve advisors that the cooperative should be saving on an annual or a monthly basis to make sure that the cooperative has enough money when the time comes to do those replacements. I'm very picky about that. It is very important that the cooperative have sufficient assets in reserves to be able to do the replacements of all of these components. I see it as probably the most important thing that I do here, having a responsibility of working with the reserve advisors and working with the property committee, the finance committee, the board of directors that ultimately approves a budget, that approves a reserve study, because if you get 5 years down the line, 15 years down the line, 30 years out, and you don't have enough money in your reserves, that is not a good thing. It takes attention all the time to make sure that it is adequately done and sufficiently done. As I was doing it and going through certain scenarios with reserve advisors about how much was going into reserves, about the scheduling of some of the replacements as we were working with the operating budget. And there was one scenario where I got the draft back from reserve advisors and they said, "We don't recommend this." So, okay, we're not going in that direction, because in certain years going out, the amount of reserves got down too low. Well, I really appreciate that. I didn't necessarily appreciate so much that I'd done a lot of work to get to that point and then had to go back again and do more communication and more consideration of the schedule of replacements and what needed to be deposited to reserves. But I will say that we ended up in what I think is a very good place. I shared that with the executive committee this week in our meeting, and that will go before the finance committee for their information and before the board for their approval next week. It's very important. So the reserve study, the final draft out of, I think, 6 or 7 drafts that I've looked at is done. The final draft of the operating budget is done. I have had several meetings with the budget group that was assigned to work with me going back to as far back as August, I think, when we first met. I don't remember exactly the dates, but we've met 5 or 6 times as I have worked through putting the budget together with the help of submissions from committees, from staff, information from vendors, and then my own work with historical editions of the budget. This has been presented to and worked on by the Finance Committee on at least 2 different occasions, maybe 3. The board as well has heard the presentation on the operating budget, and now the final draft that has been arrived at will be entertained by the Finance Committee again at their Monday regular meeting for them to give it a final look over and then a recommendation to the Board of Directors, and the Board of Directors will entertain that recommendation from the Finance Committee on the operating budget at their regular meeting next Wednesday. That is all I have on my list of, or my agenda for today. It's been a incredible amount of information that has been shared with you going back to, I can't even remember who first presented today. LaDamian, I think. LaDamian and Jake. There's been a lot of questions. We are beyond out of time, although I think we're still on 990 for 5 more minutes. So if there are any questions, I will take further questions if there's any information that hasn't just overwhelmed you. I see one here in the front, and where is the, That's a great question. Do the posts have to be as high as they are out there for the privacy fences? I believe the answer to that is no. I believe they have just been put in there, and once the fence is put on, they will be cut down to a level height. And if they don't do that automatically, I will be making a recommendation. Cut those fence posts down. One more question.
This is directed to Rich. Rich, at your meeting for us at the end of the month, will you be presenting the budget so we know what our fees will be January 1st?
Yep, well, the committee's working on that right now. Well, we don't know what it is yet because we haven't voted. We haven't got all the, but yes, at the board report to members a week from this Sunday night, we've got a preliminary report that our good treasurer and other folks are working on here.
There will be a few different occasions for members to become more familiar with the budget that is approved. The first one will be the board report that happens the Sunday after Thanksgiving. And then there will be a letter that goes out with information about new fees for 2026. That needs to happen by December 2 because it has a at least 30-day requirement before January 1 when new fees would take effect. And then I will do a further presentation of budget information in December. Any other questions? Hearing and seeing none immediately, you are dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you.